Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Ryan. I'm a full-time reseller on sites like eBay and Poshmark, and I skipped a daily vlog. It's the first one I skipped. I usually try to hit Monday through Friday, at least kind of make a video, but I actually skipped yesterday. One of the reasons I did skip yesterday was, honestly, I was just in work mode. I took a bunch of pictures, ran to the post office like normal. Since my wife worked from home and my kids were out of school, I went and got lunch, and for some reason, I don't know why, but the lines were long everywhere, probably because everyone's out of school and maybe working from home. I'm not sure, but so my lunch break took a lot longer than expected. When it's just me, it's usually just a quick drive through and grab something quick. But since they were home with me, I wanted to pick something up for everyone. Another reason I did not really make a video, I thought about it late at night, but I just wasn't feeling it. And if I'm not really feeling it, I don't want something to be forced and put out there just kind of being a bummer. I don't want to show like negative energy. And don't get me wrong, everyone has some kind of negative energy and then they feel down occasionally. That's just human nature. And it wasn't that I was feeling down, it was just I just did not feel like making a video. But today we are at Salvation Army for their half off sale. So I'm waiting here. It looks like I'm the only one here. They were closed on Monday because we had winter storms in our area. Tuesday, I'm not sure if they were open because I did not go out anywhere on Tuesday, but today is Wednesday. So hopefully they are open and I'm not just waiting around. If not, we'll hit up the Goodwill we used to go to around 9 o'clock when they open, because Salvation Army decided to switch their time from 10 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So now I'm trying to switch up my route a little bit. I'm hitting up this Salvation Army first, then hitting that Goodwill, and then followed by the other Salvation Army, and so on. There's still plenty of snow on the ground. This is actually supposed to be a parking spot next to me. This is usually where I kind of park all the time, but I'm parking next to it because the snowplows decided to shove everything in that spot, which obviously they have every right to do. They kind of clear as much space they can. I will say this Salvation Army gets pretty crazy on Wednesdays, and people just end up making their own parking spots. There is a side street, and the homeowners on that side street ended up putting signs in their yard that says "Do not park in the grass," because people were just making their own parking spots. I will say this Salvation Army, if you are not here early, it gets pretty crazy. While I'm just sitting here waiting for this place to open, which we have about 25 minutes, I figured I'd just kind of make a quick video and talk about some of the things maybe I sold. One of the things I did sell was this marble shirt, which I asked some help in the resale community. I asked a couple of different Facebook groups if they knew what the age was. It was brand new with tags, but it had some holes at the bottom. And I think the holes were actually, I don't think they were moth holes or anything, but I think it was like from a staple, how it's folded up possibly, but the staples weren't there, it was undone. It still had the tag, so I listed brand new. I did get a quick offer after posting it, and it for $50. I listed it in what is it called? Spadeberry. Because I was not sure. Spadeberry is an AI tool to help create listings. It used to be Better Lister. Or was it Better Lister? Yeah, Better Lister. And that Tech and Sports help co-create. And then someone bought them out. Now it's Spadeberry. And, it's still the same. It's just under a different name. I still have it because it does help me with items I'm not really sure of. So I still have it. It is kind of expensive though. If it's like 100 listings for $50, so 50 cents a listing, which really I guess isn't too bad. 50 cents a listing if you're uploading quality items. Adding an extra 50 cents is probably nothing compared, and it gives pretty good detail. So when I did upload it into Spadeberry, it did give me a price range around like, I think $39.99, which I was like, man, that's pretty low. Because when I asked in the group, or I asked in several groups, but one of the groups said this is most likely a 50s, 60s because of how the M is, and I guess how it's a wash and wear. I'm not 100% sure. That's why I kind of asked for some help. Since there was nothing else like it, I ended up just saying, let's post it for $100, see what happens. So I posted for $100, got a quick offer of $50. I really debated it, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna wait. I literally just posted it. So I countered at, I think, 90. And probably an hour went by, they countered at 55. And I countered at, I think, 85. Then basically, not even a day went by, and someone bought it for full price, my full asking price, for $100, and it's going international to Japan. I don't know why, but I've noticed a lot of vintage clothes go to Japan. I love eBay's international shipping because once it gets to that hub, it's out of my hands. So I'm all for international shipping. Do you use international shipping? Because it is definitely beneficial when you're selling like vintage clothes. I don't really sell many vintage clothes, but I do here and there. That was definitely my favorite sale by far, I think, in my opinion. It was a very unique piece, but yet it was very basic. It was just a black shirt, and it had an embroidery that was also black, and it was like a horse and a key, and it $100, but it is a vintage marble shirt. So, but besides the tag, it didn't say anything else about marble, so I don't know. So definitely keep an eye out. Don't be afraid to list high, because you never know what could happen. Another thing that sold was a VCR DVD combo. I love picking these up. I don't find them that often anymore. I used to find them all the time, and you can get them for like $7 roughly, but I just have not had the best luck probably in about 6 months. I just cannot find them, which, you know, they'll pop up, but I also know that Salvation Army and Goodwill is starting to kind of do their own e-commerce. They have their own auctions on their own websites. Also, they're doing eBay Live and whatnot, so they're now kind of our competitors, which they've always kind of been anyways. So yes, we do source from them, or some people source from them, unless you do garage sales or storage units, things like that. I still just do to thrift stores right now. I do in the springtime, sometimes summertime, hit up some garage sales, but that's about it. So I've had this VCR DVD combo listed for quite a while, and I got a message that asking if I would take $70. I had it listed for $100, and I said, yeah, I'll do $70 plus shipping. Perfectly fine. I sent them an offer. They accepted. I got it wrapped up and shipped out. When you are packaging any kind of electronics, I like to, especially if it's heavy, I like to use the big bubble wrap instead of the small bubble wrap. I'll wrap the cord in the small bubble wrap, and then the actual electronic in big bubble wrap. And I like to wrap, because, you know, it's a DVD VCR combo, so it's kind of long. So I like to wrap, and then wrap it the other way, so it's kind of double padded. And I want to I love shaping the boxes to make it where it's like perfectly tight. There is nothing rattling, because that's the worst thing you can do, is have something ship and it break, especially an expensive item like this. Like, it might not be really expensive, but $100, if you have to refund that, that it hurts. Also, I love testing VCR and DVD combos, because I like busting out my old VHSs and testing them out. I do always try to use a like donor, like kind of a not so good VCR tape, just in case it tries to eat the tape, because I've had that happen, and I do not want that to happen again. I also do the same when I'm testing CD and cassette players, because I don't know how many cassettes that I've played and they just are not good, and they'll eat the tape. So always have kind of like a couple of tapes. If you do kind of dabble in this kind of field, have a couple of tapes that you don't mind. If it were to get eaten up, it's okay. So I always make sure that I test it. I don't like to untest like these things. If I'm selling it, that's the worst thing, is you sell something and it's not working. I've seen so many people get burned because they sell it for parts, and then someone open return because they didn't see parts anywhere. I don't know. I know people can make some good money by just selling it as parts, but it is so hard when you're selling the whole unit, because some people just don't read. They just see the whole unit and think it's functioning. So you got to be careful with that. A lot of times when I do pick up these VCR DVD combos, it usually seems like one of the sides don't work. I don't know why, but usually when I do pick them up, one side doesn't work. And a lot of the times when I do pick them up, they are from Goodwill. Luckily, my Goodwills have a 7-day return policy on electronics if they don't work, because they don't test them. So that is nice. But I have such scatterbrains, sometimes I'll set it aside and like, all right, I'm going to test it, tonight or tomorrow. And then a week will go by and I'll forget about it. And then I finally get around to testing it and something's wrong with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this now? Sometimes I have sold it for parts, and sometimes I'm just like, cut my loss and either throw it away or redonate. And even put a note on there that says only DVD player works, VHS player doesn't work, something like that. The last sale I want to talk about is a Brooks Brothers Saxton blazer. I actually had it listed for $130 and got an offer of $73. I know that sounds terribly low, but when I went to eBay and looked up the sold comps, they were just all over the place. I did use Spadeberry to kind of price it, and that's just what it priced at. And I was like, you know what, we'll shoot high and take a ballpark offer, because I don't know what it really sells for. I picked it up for, I believe, $12.99 plus tax. It's like $14.10. So turning the $14.10 into $73, I'm happy with. I did sell over on Poshmark, so that's even better, because the weight, if it's under 5 pounds, it's just that flat fee for the buyer. So I already packaged it up, out the door, and I'm happy with it. I've only had it for about 2 months. I could have waited, or I could have countered, but I'm definitely in the game of reselling. I have so much stuff. I just, I want to get reasonable offers and send it out the door. Those were a couple of my sales. I know it wasn't a whole bunch. I did sell quite a bit, but those were just 3 that stood out. I was pretty happy about that marble shirt. I was actually really excited about it. And VCR, those are just great because they do sell for a lot. And then also the Brooks Brothers blazers. I've been still selling a lot of blazers right now, which is great. I still have a closet full of them, so I'm ready to see a lot of them go before it gets too hot, which blazers can sell all year round as long as they are good brands and quality. So I do like picking up blazers here and there, especially if the price is right. So I know this might be a quick video, but I just want to kind of update everyone, because I did not make a video yesterday, which I'm trying to make sure I do a daily vlog, at least kind of talk about what's going on. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment below just how is this winter storm affecting you, or if you even got any snow. Also, please subscribe if you like to catch more content like this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.